Fundraising Appeals Bill of 2024. President William Ruto insists government policies are working as cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries sign performance contracts. U.S. Ambassador to Kenya Meg Whitman at State House as she bids farewell to President William Ruto following her resignation from office. All right, you can watch us across our social media platforms on EBN TV. We are streaming this broadcast live. Our SMS feedback line is 23059. You're in safe pair of hands tonight. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Let's get this show started. Now, 2.8 million shillings. No, thank you. The Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops on Monday night said no to donations by President William Ruto and Nairobi County Governor Johnson Sakaja, who offered the money to the Soweto Catholic Church on Sunday during a service they attended. The rejection has raised divisions amongst members of the church hours after the Archdiocese of Nairobi reaffirmed its commitment to the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops policy on political donations to the church. We kick this broadcast with a report from our very own Caroline Muthoni.
The Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishop KCCB, led by Reverend Philip Anyolo, issued a statement on 14th of November addressing critical national issues that require urgent attention from the government. This statement was read in all churches within the Archdiocese of Nairobi on Sunday 17th November 2024. The bishops have constantly maintained a firm stance on the matter of politicians donating money to churches, highlighting that the ethical concerns and the need to safeguard churches from being used for political purposes. The Catholic Church strongly discouraged the use of church events such as fundraisers and gatherings as platforms for political self-promotion. Politicians have been urged to refrain from turning the pulpit into a stage of political rhetoric, as such actions undermine the divinity of worship places and also demonstrate ethical leadership by addressing pressing issues by the KCCB, including political wrangles, corruption, politics of self-interest, violation of rights and freedom of speech, the culture of lies, issues surrounding NHIF, and overtaxation of Kenyans. In the statement, the church has been called to uphold integrity by refusing that which may advertently compromise its independence or facilitate unjust enrichment, and remain a neutral entity free from political influence in order to effectively serve as a space of spiritual growth and community guidance. This statement was released a day after donations were made to Soweto Catholic Church on Sunday, November 17th. Nairobi County Governor Johnson Sakaja donated 200,000 shillings to the parish choir and Parish Missionary Council PMC. President William Ruto also donated 600,000 to the choir and PMC and 2 million shillings for construction of the Father's house. These funds will be refunded to respective donors, as well as a turndown on the promised 3 million shillings for further construction of the church and a church bus by the president.
Catholic, hiyo pesa mimi ningepewa ningejisaidia nayo.
Ungekataa?
Na sitakataa, mimi niko na shida mingi sana.
Akawacha hapa pesa ni kumbe aliacha wenye wamesheba pesa, na sisi vijana tunahangaika huko nje, hatuna kazi huko. Rais, tunaomba utusaidie tafadhali, utusaidie na hiyo pesa yenye unaharibu tupie kama sisi vijana.
Mimi nitaenda wapi? Kazi yangu tu ni omba mpaka lini? Na niko na watoto 3.
In addition, the statement indicated that politicians are most welcome to attend church services but remain as ordinary Christians without using their positions for political gain. Muthoni Caroline reporting for EBN News.
Well, thanks, Carol, for that report. Indeed, interesting events happening between these two estates. You know, you've got the government, you've got the clergy, and we'll be seeing how things develop following that particular rejection from the church. But let's still stick with the head of state. Now, President William Ruto has defended some of the unpopular decisions he has made in his government so far, saying they will bear fruit in due course. Speaking during the signing of the performance contracts for the cabinet secretaries at State House in Nairobi, the head of state said the Social Health Authority (SHA) and the affordable housing projects will change the lives of Kenyans once fully realized. These are amongst Kenya Kwanza projects which have backfired on the regime, with the public uproar recorded over the new taxes birthed from the same.
To the people of Kenya, especially the vulnerable, especially the disadvantaged, those who live in slums without toilets, without electricity, with no sanitation. We've taken on that assignment because we have decided a different pathway for Kenya. Rather than lament about our situation, we have taken on the responsibility to do something about it, however difficult it may be. We have taken on the responsibility of universal health coverage. I know 2 successive presidents have attempted and they didn't quite succeed. 2 successive governments have attempted, they didn't quite succeed. We have decided that we are taking on this challenge because there are too many Kenyans that die out of illnesses that we can treat. There are too many Kenyans who end up in squalor and poverty because of hospital bills. We have decided that this time round, we must get it right and make it possible for every citizen, irrespective of their financial status, that they can get the highest level of treatment in Kenya. Difficult, yes, but rather than lament about a not so working NHIF, an NHIF that has bills dating 10 years, 15 years, we've decided to correct that situation.
At the same time, all cabinet secretaries and their principal secretaries converged at State House on Tuesday for a ministerial performance contract signing event. Different cabinet secretaries and officers were given contracts entailing targets they would need to achieve during the tenure. Now, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, who doubles as the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, signed 3 performance contracts given his role as Acting Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Gender, Culture, Arts and Heritage. Presiding over the ceremony, President William Ruto urged CSs to remain vigilant and steadfast in delivering on their mandates and providing better services to Kenyans.
We have appended our signatures to the performance contracts, and it is our duty to make sure that we honor what we have signed up to. Your Excellency, I can only emphasize that it will be important that as we execute our mandates, we exercise extreme humility. We also exercise integrity. And we also acknowledge that the focus must be on performance and delivery as you have assigned us in our various portfolios. Your Excellency, it is important that Parliament has also been here. They oversight us, and I think the message that we get from their presence also is that they are likely to be more vicious in their oversight assignments as they look at all the various dockets and what is expected of us.
At the same time, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has called on cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries to take decisive action in fulfilling the government's bottom-up economic agenda, stressing the importance of delivering on the promises made to Kenyans. His remarks came during the signing of the annual performance contracts for the CSs and PSs at State House in Nairobi. Speaking at the event, Kindiki urged government officials to be diligent in their work to improve public service delivery, emphasizing that their efforts are crucial to achieving the government's development goals. The performance contracts, which were signed in the presence of President William Ruto, are designed to hold government ministries accountable for their contributions to national development.
It means that we are expected, in the context in which we exercise our mandates, to ensure that whatever commitments we make, we fulfill them, because accountability demands transparency, report back, and evaluation. And Your Excellency, it is my very humble view that in the context of a very vibrant democracy that Kenya is, going forward, we have to work harder, faster, more efficiently, if we have to keep pace with the very vibrant democracy that our country has become. Your Excellency, I'm happy to be part of this, and I promise you from where I sit to support you and to work with all the other colleagues as you lead us to deliver a better Kenya, a more inclusive Kenya, a Kenya that is sensitive to the needs of its people, and a government that is sensitive and responds to the needs and aspirations of the people of Kenya.
The government has onboarded 18,000 services through the National e-Citizen, and together with other immigration functions now collect 400 billion shillings. This is according to Immigration Principal Secretary Professor Julius Bitok. Now, Professor Bitok said that there was a huge leap in the cash collection following the government's deliberate move to put most of its services on the digital platform, becoming the first country in the world to have such a number of services online. Speaking when he took the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and Acting Interior and National Coordination Cabinet Secretary through their services at the Nyayo House, Professor Bitok said that Kenya has surpassed Rwanda with about 700 services online, alongside other countries like India and most of the European countries, which had less than 500 such functions digitally.
One of our flagship projects, Visa Free, has been a very successful story. We started Mohammed Afzal
Let's cross over to the floor of the National Assembly right now. Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah has defended security agencies in the midst of claims of abductions of innocent citizens in the country, saying security officers are doing their work as mandated in the Constitution. Ichung'wah praised the security forces, including the DCI, for expediting investigations into murder cases and called on fellow legislators to be cautious on speaking ill against police officers.
Today in this country, even people who are legitimately arrested by policemen are booked into police cells, known police cells, are produced before courts of law. Those are being described as abductions. Probably we should, even as we engage Honorable Speaker, be able to define what is an abduction. You saw the other case, Honorable Speaker, only this week or last week. A wife to somebody is in Nairobi, is also married to another man in Narok. The husband in Nairobi reports that the wife has been abducted. So I don't know whether that was an abduction or is a case of people stealing other people's wives. Now tomorrow, if the Honorable Bowen moves to Marakwet East with my wife, will I report my wife as having been abducted? Or do I say I've been unable to do certain things that the Honorable Bowen has managed to do? I mean, Honorable Speaker, I was only pointing out to say that we must be careful as leaders because we have a national platform. The adjectives we use to describe incidences. When a murderer murders people, that is a murderer. When someone is abducted by criminals and the police apprehend, at least let us have also the decency to congratulate, and I want to take this opportunity to congratulate DCI Amin and his team of security officers in the operations department, because they have moved with speed. When the Kware killings were happening, Honorable Speaker, it took them less than a week to apprehend the suspect. But it took the police a very short time, the Kenya police, to allow that suspect to escape from lawful custody, Honorable Speaker. Those are the issues I would expect that as leaders we should be addressing. Commend our officers when they do well, encourage them to do better, to apprehend suspects, but also avoid the temptation to brand every other criminal activity as an abduction. And I know there are also elements among us who want to make all these things look like they're abductions.
Outgoing U.S. Ambassador to Kenya Meg Whitman bid farewell to President William Ruto at State House on Tuesday following her resignation. Whitman, a billionaire businesswoman and the third female ambassador to Kenya, handed in her resignation to the outgoing U.S. President Joe Biden last week. Her departure came after intense public pressure from Kenyans and a notable shift in U.S. political leadership with Donald Trump's return to the White House. The embassy will now be led by Charge d'Affaires Mark Dillard.
Hello, Meg. Fine. How are you? Nice to see you. Karibu. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello. How are you? Very good. Welcome. Barry, how are you? Good. Welcome.
Students at Machakos University have expressed their frustrations over the lack of will from government's side to listen to the lecturers and fulfill their demands amidst a lecturers' strike that has taken a toll on university education. The students say they are expected to head out for attachments and are now uncertain whether that will happen following a halt of school operations. The dawn strike has persisted in the last weeks with no end in sight.
I think tukiendelea kungoja hii notice ni sisi tutabaki kuwa disappointed. Sawa sawa? So it is now our turn. We have to go ahead. We have to call all these leaders from these other universities. We come together, we merge our hands together, and we decide on one thing, that we are going to decide that we are going home. Another thing, it is impossible for us to learn for only 6 months and we've paid school fees for the whole semester. Another thing, now that this semester has been delayed due to the failure of this government to facilitate the needs of our lecturers, there are comrades who are supposed to go for their attachment after the 2 semesters of maybe this year. And in April, somebody like a teacher is expected to be in school in his or her attachment. Kumaanisha kuna uwezekano kwamba that semester can be squeezed, and if it can be extended, it means it will paralyze all other activities that are ahead, which is not good for us comrades.
Us being in the school for 4 good weeks without lectures is so unfair, is so ungood to us. As comrades, this is our final. We always say one thing as a comrade. We always have one voice as comrades. And what we are going to decide is either we go home, let's come next year. And if it is next year, we want to request the government that please pay our lecturers. It is better if they are paid, because even it is not so unfair, even you, Mr. President, serving the nation without your salaries. Please let our lecturers be paid.
Government should pay these lecturers, because these lecturers are parents, and being the parents, they have got their own things that they need to do with that money. Because if you are not doing this one, we are going to have a lot of a crisis in Kenya. Saizi ni maandamano lecturers, tumeona sasa kuna upcoming maandamano governors, because money has not been dispersed to the various counties. So niko very sure after hapo the students wanataka kuandamana, because help haijakuwa released with some of the students.
Kirinyaga County Governor Anne Waiguru has revealed that she is not going out of politics after end of her second term, saying she will make a political comeback. This is the first public appearance after she missed out on being appointed as deputy president after the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. Speaking in Kerugoya town, Waiguru has dismissed claims that she will go out of the political limelight after the end of her term, saying she will stay in the political arena.
Understand the potential that Kirinyaga presents. We are the #1 producer of aromatic rice in the region, not just in Kenya. Bishori is only grown in Kirinyaga. That Bishori rice earns our farmers in excess of 25 billion shillings every year. Every single year. So if you're thinking where should you open a branch, I'm giving you the hints without telling you where. You know, for me, I need to get the votes from everywhere. You know, there are people who have been saying, Governor Namaliza, alafu anaenda nyumbani. No, I'm no.
The Kenya Association of Muslim Medical Professionals have said the Social Health Authority is a good scheme but needs to be rolled out in a strategic manner to achieve universal health coverage. Dr. Ahmed Twahir says although SHA has faced teething problems, his associations support it in the hope that it will become a good scheme in the end. The doctor also says the association will hence work closely with SHA to achieve the objectives of the scheme and benefit Kenyans. He spoke during the 6th Muslim Medical Professionals Conference held at Pride in Paradise Beach Resort in Mombasa County. The meeting brought together Muslim doctors and medical professionals in lower levels.
Eat more than once a day. Salad, soup. That's it. And water. No dates. Not the date. Nothing until so. That's it.
I think SHA is an amazing idea that needs to be rolled out in a very strategic manner. It's got its good points, and I think in the beginning there'll be a lot of teething problems, but I think if we support it and it's got a good intention, I think things will work out well in the end.
Now, we all agree in principle that any country that has a proper social health insurance is a no-given, that everyone is okay with that. But we need to put it, as our chairman said, strategic. We need to see what are the challenges on the ground that people are facing and how can we address them. Issues of dialysis, issues of payments, you know, we have some pending payments to faith-based organizations. So we want to bridge that gap because trust is really needed and it's important. And through associations like CAMP, bridging that gap between the Muslim faithfuls and the government, that's where we come in to highlight all the challenges that people have.
In a bid to empower grassroots economic growth and people-led economic solutions, the German Education and Research Organization is engaging the SMEs community in the Mbere community in the invitation of Mbere North Member of Parliament Geoffrey Ruku. The grassroots economic conversation for sustainable entrepreneurship was led by Dr. Dieter Domen, the managing director of an economic education research organization in Berlin, Germany, consisting of a team of globally accredited entrepreneurship experts and consultants, small-scale business operators from the border sector, women entrepreneurs, Muguka farmers and traders highlighted the challenges facing the small and micro businesses in the marginalized Mbere North of Embu County.
Sisi kama wanawake, familia tunapata na shida hata ingawa tumetekeleza matumizi. Shida yetu kubwa ni capital, yani pesa za kwanza biashara yetu. Sasa ningetaka kama tunaweza hiyo na capital, tunaweza kusaidia kama wanawake
to get training so that sometimes we can get somebody to train for us how we are going to manage our money. And those trainings can assist these people in a form of knowing how to do the banking, how to do the saving, and even to manage our homes.
We would discuss the issues of Ibuka, and as you know very well, I am trying as much as possible to see whether we can do something as far as Ibuka is concerned. But always, I have not been successful so far. The first attempt was when we as a partner of Ibuka shipment Israel. We took 300 kilograms of Ibuka to Israel. The day that consignment landed in Tel Aviv is the day the war in Israel broke. So that business died there and then. We were not funded. The 300 kilograms which landed in Tel Aviv, it was ready to go and test the market and see whether we can get more orders and see whether it's a product that can be used for processing to other products or even for consumption. But it was very unfortunate. That day is the day that the war in Israel and Gaza
To some business news, the Kenya Ports Authority is projecting to handle 2.2 million 20-foot equivalent units by the end of 2024, which is a 20% growth compared to last year's performance. According to the Kenya Ports Authority Managing Director, Captain William Ruto, the port has already surpassed the target of last year, which was at 1.6 million, and they are currently at 1.75 million, attributing the growth to enhanced operational efficiency. In a bid to further boost the port's capacity, Captain Ruto revealed that plans are underway to extend Container Terminal 1, berth number 19B, by an additional 240 meters, a move which he said is expected to boost the port's capacity by 300,000 tons annually. And in a bid to enhance the port operational efficiency and meet the growing demand for cargo handling, Captain Ruto noted that the Port of Mombasa is implementing major upgrades, including modernization of the terminal operating system and the acquisition of advanced equipment to bolster its operational capacity.
Took over as the CEO, we were doing 1.4 million TEUs, okay? And my first year, the end of 2023, we did 1.6 million TEUs. That was a growth of 12% from the previous 0.4%. This year, 2024, as we speak right now, we have surpassed the targets for last year. We are currently at 1.75. And with only 1.5 months to go, I have every confidence that despite our target having been 1.9 million, we are really going to hit 2.2 million if all goes well. So that will be a growth of more than 20%. That when you see the global economy, the growth of the global economy is less than 5%. The economy of East Africa, which is an emerging market, is about 5 to 7%. So if KPA we can be able to do up to 20%, don't you see that is a major improvement? It is a level that has never been reached ever before, where the port is able to do a 2-digit growth. We are also extending the Container Terminal 1, that is berth number 19B. Very soon we will be signing the contract with the contractor to add an additional 240 meters quay length, an additional capacity in terms of TEU capacity of 300,000 TEUs.
The cargo dwell time in Nairobi has reduced from highs of 4.5 to 3.5. Here in Mombasa, we are doing about 79 hours, which is a good indicator. We don't have waiters at the port, and we want to appreciate the captain and the team for the good work they're doing. This media tour will take us from the port of Mombasa to ICD Nairobi, and then to Naivasha, Kisumu, and Malaba. The intention is to appreciate whether we are meeting our targets in the port charter, what interventions we can redeploy to ensure that we become efficient and competitive, because high cost of transport and logistics eats into our competitiveness. As a region, we spend about 30 to 35% of our prices on logistics and transport, which can become better. Our cost per kilometer compared to other countries about $2 per kilometer, and the best performing economies is at $1 per kilometer per container.
Sports. Sadly, Kenya bowed out of the 2025 African Cup of Nations AFCON qualifiers after settling for a barren draw against fellow underachievers Namibia on Tuesday afternoon at the Peter Mokaba Stadium in Polokwane, Limpopo province in South Africa. After a dull first half for both sides, Kenya's best chance in the half came from substitute Daniel Sakari, whose header effort from wingback Eric Marcelo Ouma was kept off by a stifling Namibia rearguard for a corner. The outcome means Firat's charges wrap up their campaign in third place in Group J after collecting a mere 6 points from a probable 18, while Namibia, the visitors, finished last with 2 points. Elsewhere, Cameroon overcame Zimbabwe 2-1 in the other encounter in Yaoundé to top the group with 14 points, although both sides had already sealed qualification before kickoff. Indeed, quite a disappointing outing for Harambee Stars, and pressure now piles on Engin Firat. Will he stick around or will he be packing his bags? Well, word on the street is a lot of fans are frustrated by those results and they just want something to happen because this is the second continuous outing we have missed ever since making, or just going back to the tournament a couple of years ago. And so we really were hoping that we'll be cheering that team in the AFCON, but it is not to be. So a lot of questions of our performance and just the general management of the team. Are we able to do something better about it next time? So that is something that we'll be hoping is addressed as soon as possible by the Cabinet Secretary for Sports, Kipchumba Murkomen. So I wrap it up at that point tonight. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you're up to date with what is making headlines across the country. Have yourself a fantastic night. My name is Cynthia Nanjala.